Jeff, the NBA's trade season has unofficially begun. Now, as you know, on Monday, players who signed as free agents last summer became eligible to be traded. Now, 3 teams on my side of the country, Jeff, that I think are worth watching and going to be active are Utah, Phoenix, and Sacramento. The Jazz have lost 11 out of 12 games. GM Dennis Lindsey is widely known as a guy that's certainly pretty fearless and not afraid to swing for the fences. There's been some chatter in the media about maybe a Darren Williams homecoming with the Brooklyn Nets looking to shake up their roster. I even had one executive bring up Rajon Rondo and the idea that maybe Lindsey would take a gamble and go after the Boston Celtics point guard. Speaking of point guards, the Suns' problem is they have too many. You got Goran Dragic, who had such a great year last year and is expected to be a free agent next year. Eric Bledsoe, who got a long-term extension during the summer. And Isaiah Thomas, who was added in free agency on a 4-year deal. The Suns have lost 6 in a row, and all of a sudden it wouldn't surprise anybody if one of those guys gets traded. Now, out in Sacramento, Jeff, GM Pete D'Alessandro is always the aggressive type. A couple of names that I'm told: Josh Smith and Rajon Rondo. The Josh Smith idea continues to be contemplated internally, though I'm told they're gravitating away from the idea of adding the Pistons big man. When it comes to Rondo, the main thing is whether or not GM Danny Ainge is going to eventually lower the price tag.
Sam, you mentioned the Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons continue to take calls about Greg Monroe's availability. But Monroe, who must approve any trade because he signed the Pistons qualifying offer in the offseason, is uninterested in a mid-season trade at this point. His agent, David Falk, told me that Monroe's preference is to play out the season with the Pistons, become a free agent in July, and then evaluate his options. Another team to watch is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers are torn between adding a perimeter player to alleviate some of the pressure from LeBron James, or adding a big man who can help out with Cleveland's interior defense. Sam, we all know that the Lance Stephenson experiment with the Charlotte Hornets is not going well, and that the Hornets are willing to give up Stephenson. The Indianapolis Star reported that Pacers owner Herb Simon is not opposed to bringing Stephenson back to the Pacers as long as team president Larry Bird goes for it. And the Hornets are unwilling to give up too much for Stephenson, who they just signed in the offseason. Lastly, Sam, let's watch what the Brooklyn Nets do. They just shed some salary recently when they traded Andrei Kirilenko, and the key thing for general manager Billy King moving forward is creating some roster flexibility and some salary cap flexibility. Trading Brook Lopez won't be easy. He's injury prone. Joe Johnson has a huge contract, and Darren Williams' best days are behind him. But if the Nets can find someone to take 1, 2, or all 3 of those guys, don't be surprised if the Nets are active between now and the February trade deadline.